Shalom Aleichem, this is Rabbi Kovacs and Mishnah Yomi. Today we'll be finishing Bava and Bezrat Hashem starting Bava Metzia. We're in chapter 10, Mishnah Yud. Mochin shakoves motzi, scraps of wool that the washer, washes off of a ball of wool, hare elu shalo. The launderer gets to keep them. These are such small amounts that come off during the washing and the rinsing that everyone has mechila. The owner of the wool who's hired this laundryman says, you can keep the little shreds. He doesn't bother taking them back. V'shehasorik motzi hare elu shabalabait. But the comber, if you hire someone to comb the wool, a lot more wool comes out during that process of combing and straightening the fibers. That goes back to the owner of the wool. Hakovis, the laundryman or dry cleaner, notil shlosha hudin, can take off 3 strings at the edge, the hen shalo, and keeps them. Yeter miken, more than 3, hare elu shel bal habayit. They go back to the owner. What's going on here is when the weavers would make a new garment, typically it was wool, and they understood the first time you wash it, it might shrink a little bit, and the borders might become uneven, so they would put extra threads of a different material around the borders of a brand new garment. And the understanding was the dry cleaner, after he's washed this thing for you, he's going to even out the borders, perhaps by snipping some of these extra threads off. That was normal. Up to 3 threads was normal for him to keep. But more than that, it's already a significant amount of useful threads. It should go back to the owner, the one who brought his dry cleaning. Imhaya shachar agabe alav, and if these are black strings at the edge of a white garment, now that doesn't look normal. No to let the kov a hen shalo. The laundryman can take all of these threads out in the process of washing the garment and for the first time and evening out the borders, because it wouldn't look right otherwise, and he's expected to keep them because that's what the weavers intended, for the dry cleaner to even out the edges after the first wash. Ahayat, a tailor, shashir min nachut kedei lat barbo. He's left over enough thread. He's been given thread and materials by someone who's hired him to make a garment. If there's enough thread to sew a stitch, which is 2 needle lengths for you tailors out there, umotlit shehi shalosh shalosh, or there's a scrap of the fabric that's 3 fingers by 3 fingers, hare elu shabalabait. He returns that to the customer who hired him and provided the materials. It's a significant amount. Moshe harish motzi b'matzad hare elu shalo. What the carpenter takes off a piece of wood using a plane, he's scraping it to smooth it, he keeps it. It's very small scraps. Uva koshil, but if he's using a koshil, like an axe or a saw, shel balabait. Those are bigger pieces. Those go back to the owners providing the materials. If he's working on the customer's property, he's a contractor building over there, off on his sword shel balabait. Even the sawdust generated over there goes back to the owner providing the materials. Hadronalach Bava Kama, Mazel Tov. On to Bava Metzia. Shnayim ochazin batalit. 2 guys show up in court. They're both holding one garment. Zay omer ani matzatia. One says, I found it. V'zay omer ani matzatia. The other guy says, I found it. Zay omer kula shali. And now this is a separate case. One of them says, all of this is mine. He's saying, I bought it first from a store. Zay omer kula shali. The other one says, no, it's all mine. I bought it first. So what do we do? What does the court do? So they impose an oath on these 2 people fighting over this item. They make the first guy swear that he owns no less than half. And the second guy also makes the same shvua that he owns no less than half. And they indeed divide the coat in half. Each one gets a half. Now, in the Gemara, they say the case here is when they're both holding the edges. If one of them is holding much more than the other, he's holding a big chunk of the item or more of the coat, then obviously he's entitled to more. If it's something that can't be evenly divided, the court should sell it and they will divide the proceeds. And our sages in Gemara, they also ask, why is shavua? If both of them are holding it, they both have an equal claim to it. So the shavua is so people who are not scrupulous people don't run up to others and grab a hold of their items and then claim that they own half of it. So the shvua is to deter that kind of bad behavior. Now the Mishnah goes on with a variation of this case. Zay omer kula shali. One says, I own all of it. V'zay omer chetzia shali. The other one says, half of it I am entitled to. Omer kula shali, the one who says he gets all of it. Yeshava she'ein lo va b'chot mishlosha chalakim. He should make an oath that he owns no less than 3/4. V'omer chetzia shali, Yeshava she'ein lo va pachot merevia. The one who says, I own half, he should make a shvua. He owns no less than 1/4. Zeno tel shlosha halakim. The first one takes 3/4. V'zeno tel revia. The second guy takes 1/4, because after all, he's only claiming a half, so he's giving up any claim to the other half. He's admitting that the first gentleman has full ownership of that half. So really, he gets half of a half. The Gemara and Daf Hey in Bava Metzia says that people are usually more afraid of making a false oath than of potentially stealing or falsely claiming something is theirs. Now, nowadays, we try not to make shvuot and nedarim at all, bli neder, but, it's a very serious thing. Our word is something that's very meaningful and valuable, and it's elul, and we have kol nidre on the horizon. So something to think about is how we can be metaken, how we can be very careful with the words we use and the promises we make. Yashar kochachem tizku lemitzvot.